On this week's episode, we're joined by Molly Ratermann, whose first directorial debut, Making a Bridesmaid, turns a Lake Tahoe bachelorette weekend into a horror comedy nightmare. We talk about indie filmmaking, festival networking, bad producer experiences, and surviving your first feature.
Cut.
All right, everybody, let's take 5.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Wow, couldn't even hear a separation. I love that. Wow. That was great.
On par.
Molly, thank you so much for joining us. This is awesome that you were able to come in town and be a part of this. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm loving life. It's summer. I'm like ready to do every summer thing possible while also trying to work.
Yeah.
Wait, so are you in LA?
I split my time.
Okay.
So I'm LA and San Francisco.
Oh, gosh.
I love Northern California.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
California in general is like the greatest place in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Shout out.
For
sure.
Shout out.
I say it every day.
Quick
It's like
shout
super annoying.
Yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
like, another California moment.
Oh, it's a positive outlook. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Were you
Every
born
day.
and raised?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
East Bay in Northern California.
Yeah, there we go.
I know we all have the Bay Area connection.
Oh, yeah,
do.
for sure.
Can attest.
I know Molly from a long time ago. Did we meet on that series that Dave Motry was doing?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that
I think
was
we
right.
knew about each other in circles.
Yeah.
Bay
Like,
Area circle.
yeah, exactly. And then I think that was finally we met on set.
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
How
that
fun.
was
Good times.
I know.
What were you doing on set? What were you doing on set?
You were doing a lot on
I
that
don't
project.
remember. It was a blur.
Yeah.
I think I was...
Per usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I officially was on that set, but Dave, bless him, is a wonderful person who loves to get all of his friends involved in things that he's doing. And so he called me up saying, hey, I'm doing this series, would love your help.
Cool.
And it was a lot of just like, you know, being over his shoulder, kind of whispering in his ear kind of thing, like, hey, try this, or, you know, that kind of stuff. Or if he had, most of the time it'd be, I have this idea, what do you think? And he'd usually be right. So like, it was just me going, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he needed like a little extra ear to talk to.
Yeah.
It was a big operation that he was putting together.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of moving parts. And
Yeah.
I was just acting in it. So
Okay.
I had the...
Carrying the
Just
load. I was
acting.
going to say,
You know,
you're carrying the story. That's massive.
Yes, that was me. That's what they said every day. Very valiant, showing up to set.
They really told me I was important.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You are fresh off of making your first feature.
Yes!
Directing
Oh.
and acting in your first feature.
Yes. Finally did it.
Wow.
Whoa, tell us more about that.
Yes,
What's the name? All that good stuff.
Still recovering, you know,
Yeah.
how it goes. But it's called Making a Bridesmaid. It's a dark comedy horror. I call it a feel-good horror comedy.
Cool.
I wanted to make
Feel-good horror.
Yeah, it's...
Don't pretend like you don't know what it is. We watched it together.
I'm trying to give people
I was like, how do I
context.
pitch this to someone that's already seen it? How do I do this?
The whole audience is new to this.
Yeah.
And
Gosh.
obviously, I don't want to give anything away.
No
You
spoilers.
know? Yeah,
Right,
no spoilers. But I didn't necessarily grow up watching horror, so I kind of wanted to make a horror that I would watch.
Yes.
Which hopefully there's a market for. Sound like from our test screening, yes. Like there, you know, but we like leaned a lot into the comedy, and it's really relatable, I think, for women and sometimes men. You never know. It's two sisters go on what they think is going to be a basic bitch bachelorette party. And then
the tagline?
I mean,
Basic bitch
there's no other
bachelorette.
way to
I
kind of
love
say
this.
it. And so then this whole operation, they find out it's a true crime theme, and it sort of unravels further that it becomes a murder bachelorette. So it's like kill or be killed. So these women sort of have to pick, like, are we going to unite with each other? And there's like a whole 80s undertone, I think, you know.
I
So
loved it.
good.
It was so good.
Yes.
I'm so glad.
Very honored that we
You
got to
caught
see
all
it.
the things that I was like so excited for people, because we grew up, I'm sure you too, like big John Hughes people, and I just like, I wanted to kind of see how far have women really come, you know, since the 80s when there's only so many seats at the table, right?
Right.
And they're having to compete for those seats at the table, and now we're in a world where we want to unite, and we're actually seeing that we're more powerful together, and so how far we really come when your life is literally on the line.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was
such a fun
so fun.
watch.
I'm so
Especially as
glad
a
you felt
woman,
that
like,
way.
because I don't know, I haven't done my research, but I don't know too many women who have directed and written thriller type comedy horror, and I could just be like ignorant to the fact, but like it was so evident that it was from a female point of view, and I loved that.
That makes
I
me
just
very
loved
happy.
it because I related with it. Like I feel like so often you have a male's point of view with all these like horrors and whatnot, and so it's like, yeah, that's funny, yeah, this is good, but like it's not what this was.
It's a story for both audiences,
No,
though,
I agree.
for sure.
But I really appreciated it from, again, a female's point of lens. Like, I really did appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I remember, so this was before you had done the movie. I don't remember if it was a phone call or we were just catching up or something like that. And you were explaining the concept to me, and I was so excited and so angry at the same time because I was like, I wish I had come up with that. It
You
was
could
so
have.
good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
You've never been a basic bitch. You wouldn't
No,
know.
not at all. But I was like, damn, oh, this is so good. And then just being able to watch it, thank you for allowing me to see it.
Yeah,
I was
thank
like,
you. Thanks for
I was
taking the time.
waiting and waiting and
He
waiting. And I
was.
finally was just like, I'm going to reach out to her and just ask if I can watch.
I know, that made my day. I was like, oh, so you really want to watch it?
really
You
wanted
actually
to
are going
see
to take
it.
93 minutes of your life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
watch
We
this
sat down
Yeah.
on the couch,
We made
got
it
our
a movie
blankets and
night.
popcorn and watched
I
it. And there was a
love
point where I was off the couch
It was-
laughing so hard. It was so good.
God.
It was when you, I won't give it away, but
No.
it was when you leaned into the 80s stuff.
Okay, I think I have a feeling.
There's
Yeah.
a specific
so
moment.
funny. Like, you fully sent it, and I was like, yes!
Oh, it was
Bring
so
I was
this
good.
kind of like, if
back.
we're gonna do it, let's just
Oh,
do it. You know,
Absolutely.
So good.
like all of it was just. I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's like you got to take the big swings, otherwise you're just riding this middle line, and nobody
Yeah.
likes that.
That's
Right.
a really
Yeah.
good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you also you've had a lot of experience directing shorts as well. So this was
Yeah.
a step up going into the feature. And I would say, like, a question I would have is, what do people directing shorts don't understand about directing a feature?
Okay, I would say that all the cliches are true. All
Okay.
the like,
Oh, no.
you know, the warnings ahead of time and the, you know, I think, okay, so like, let me backtrack for a second. I did a lot of shorts and I just kept doing shorts because I was trying to get features off the ground. This is something I know any filmmaker can relate to, right? And so I was, you know, constantly being told certain things. Like at the time I was trying to get larger budget features off the ground. And they were kind of like, hey, for a first time feature director, I don't know if that's, you know, people were, you know, trepidatious and rightfully so.
Right.
And I understand it now. You know, I understand where they were like, hey, try, you know, maybe do something a little lower budget, a little high, like less stakes. You know, every film has high stakes, right?
Yeah.
But I think I understand because now going through the process, I am so happy I was able to learn the lessons I did and the hard way, unfortunately. But like, you know, I'm so grateful because it made me the filmmaker I feel like I'm supposed to be, or, you know, we're still learning, right?
Sure.
But like, thank God all those things happened and there wasn't an insane amount of money at stake or whatever. And, you know, a lot of it's out of your control, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I guess I would say, keep, like, you know, you're so good at this. Like, just keep the learning going on the shorts before you get it made, because there's nothing is ever going to prepare you for it. But at least if you know yourself so well and you're really like working on, you know, knowing your brand, knowing your vision and trusting that, I think that'll help you through the whole process, you know.
Sure.
Because there's so many things I could say, but I would say just keep making them, because I mean they can be expensive. I totally get it, but in
Yeah.
whatever capacity you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the main ones.
Yeah, and so you were saying it's, you know, it wasn't a lot of money on the line, but it was still a decent budget. It was $500K for your first feature. Or what
No,
was it?
I mean, maybe you bleep it out, but it was a lot less than that.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
was a lot less. I had a whole slate of films that for years I was trying to get off the ground, and just, I don't know, I think you're the same as me, where I'm kind of like, you say that, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it happen. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the anomaly. And so trying to find every back road and back door to
Yeah.
make that
Yeah.
happen. And
Love a good back door.
yeah, and I learned a lot doing it, you know. Hey-o. Rob, hey-o.
Moving on.
So I essentially was just banging my head against a wall and thinking I was, no, I figured out a new avenue. I figured out a new whatever. And so I finally had enough meetings where people just go, hey, look, just get the monkey off your back, make your first feature. Just do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're not wrong. And then, I think I've told you guys a little bit was they were doing these 100K horror features and they said, hey, we want to do a female filmmakers horror. We've been doing men. We want to do a female.
Great.
Do you have anything? And, complete honesty, I don't really watch horror. And, so again, I was like, that's why I was like, hey, I'm going to make a horror that like female would want to watch. And they go, well, this was in beginning of June, literally exactly 2 years ago, probably. And kind of weird.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. But yeah, he basically was like, we need to shoot it in September. So I pitched ideas and I had 2 ideas. I came back the next week and the investors he was working with, they really liked it. And so I wrote it in a week. It was one of those, I don't know if that'll ever happen to me again. I think I was just at the point of like, great. Like there's something about not caring and caring. Do you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
It really
so
helped.
precious.
Yeah. I kind of, and that's why I was just like, I'm just going to go nuts with this then because I'm just going to have fun and go crazy and like whatever comes out. And it really worked. I mean, there's a massive roller coaster even with the script process, further on, but it was like a huge opportunity. And so that's kind of why this happened was they were like, we're making low budget. Can we do it? And I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's go.
The answer is yes. You'll figure it out as you go.
I will figure it out.
Amen.
And I was also like, horror is just it's a brilliant genre. I don't watch it because it's not brilliant. I don't watch it because I'm a child.
Scary.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Have nightmares
I'm still working that out in therapy of like, how do I get my anxiety down while I watch these films?
Do you need to?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. But
so it was good to explore.
who did you? Because that's fabulous. And so I didn't know this, but so this was written specifically because you already had an investor in mind or someone in mind. So who came to you? Was it through a program? Was it through a person you knew?
Yeah, it was through a person I knew, and I knew that person for many years, and it was complete luck. Like it was one of those weird things where I've been banging on every door possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we are all in the same boat, right? Of just like
Rocks.
Yes, all of it, and it was just such a not fluke. I shouldn't say it that way. It was just one of those things where I was like, I just want to make a film. I just want to get to that next level of my career. And I'm so excited about my slate that I'm like, if that's what it takes to get to the next level, let's do it, know? And then obviously I fell in love with the script and the story and, felt very excited about the film in general. I'm like, it is my baby now, right? But so it was an interesting experience. And so I kind of just took the ticket, it's the buy the ticket, take the ride kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, so I read somewhere that this script was based off of a recurring nightmare that you used to have as a child.
What?
No, okay, not as a child. That'd be hilarious because actually, like
a basic bitch weekend.
Yeah. Well, and funny enough, my sisters and I are really big on bachelorette parties since we were like kids.
That's
so
so
for
wild.
each sister that's gotten married, we've done like a million bachelorette things.
Wow.
And one sister got 3 of them. It was ridiculous. Anyway, but we didn't care about the getting married. We just cared about the bachelorette. We were kind of like, can't wait to get married so we can throw you a bachelorette,
That's so funny.
And we would get like really into it and like really over the top. Like
how
it was
fun.
a lot. So then what ended up happening, I had a year where it was a little over a year, I guess, where I pretty much ended up on, I think it was like 12 bachelorette parties.
Wow.
And it was, I know one weekend I had 3 and it was crazy. I was like one day at each and it was absolutely nuts.
Oh my gosh.
I had a lot of experience in the bachelorette world. And so I started getting this nightmare of like, and like a couple of them my sisters and I are really close. So we have mutual friends. And so we started going on some of them together, and because of that, I started having this insane nightmare that they turn into these murder bachelorettes and all these dynamics of the women and whatever. And I remember being on one, and I was like, God, I can't stop having this nightmare. Like, you guys aren't going to start murdering me, right? And whatever. And they're like, you should make that into a movie. And I was like, nah. And then 2 years later, when I was like, wait, I think I do have an idea, and I've lived it in my nightmares, you know, for a while. Wow. So
So funny.
It was really crazy.
What about bachelorette culture made a good foundation for this movie? Like, because you went to all these bachelorette
I
parties.
just think it's like the crock pot pressure cooker of female relationships. You know,
High
you've got
school friends.
Exactly. You've got the
Yep.
high school friends, the college friends, the new friends, the sisters.
Yes,
you know,
the
like you have
acquaintances.
so many dynamics, and there's females in a beautiful way. Our relationships with each other are so important, and what we mean to each other is so important, right? And that's amazing because we're always there for each other. Like it's an amazing base group to have, right? But also when you get into these situations where there's one gal who's, you know, everyone wants to be their best friend, or they really don't want to even be there, or whatever it is, right? Everyone's got different motives happening, and I think a lot of insecurities come up, and there's just like girl weekends in general, a lot happens. You know, a lot of times girls will come back and feel like they've had a revelatory weekend because they've realized something through it. And so I just thought, like, what a great little pressure cooker, you know, of a
It's brilliant. It
Well,
kind of,
thank you.
each person write, the characters write themselves because you can have so many variations of them because we're so complex.
And that's the hope, right? Is that each woman who watches it feels like, oh, I relate to that character.
Yeah.
You know, and you will relate to every part of, you know, it's not just one character usually.
Right.
You know, there's like, oh yeah, I've been that way before. You know, like I've been that whatever. And so it's the worst and the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. It was such a fun story. So, well, I kind of wanted to ask a different question, but
Go
I
ahead.
think if you
No,
have
go
more on
ahead.
this, because I'm sure there's a plethora on this.
No,
specific-
please jump into it.
Okay, well, I was going to say, so this one was your baby, your first one, your first feature, which is incredible. I think you had alluded to it, like getting anything off the ground is near impossible.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
kudos to you for that. So what learnings or takeaways would you bring into your next feature?
Oof.
I know.
Yeah.
I do have like an actual list somewhere, and I was afraid to look at it like before this in case you guys asked, because I was just like,
I knew it.
oof. Like, I
You
don't
gotta know. You gotta know the key.
Yeah.
Share
I
the
will
wisdom.
say, you know, this is such okay, it's terrible advice because who has money for it, but also get money for it is legal. Like, get legal on right away.
Right.
Like, have money in the budget for legal. And I know people will say that time and time again, and you go, it'll be fine. We're just making this low budget thing. And most of them are my friends and whatever. And it's like, no, don't skip around the bush. Just get the right team on from the get-go.
Wow.
Don't have any blurred lines, nothing.
Right.
If you feel any blurriness at any part, you right then and there, you clarify and make sure things are
like,
you know,
role distinguish wise,
all of
just
it,
everything.
everything. What people think their, you know, job is. Obviously, like producer is a role that can be a lot of
Anything.
things,
Yeah.
and people can define that in many different ways, and you know,
Can get a
decide.
little-
Yeah, there's a lot of interpretation. Just make sure that in any shape or form on your production, there is no interpretation except for the story.
Right,
That's
right,
it,
right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one, which I know sounded really intense the way I just said it. But also just trust your intuition, and that's such an obvious. Again, I have this year of learning cliches on a whole new
love
level,
it.
and it's just like, oh, I get this now, you know. And I've never, I think there's a lot that makes you. I mean, have a therapist. That's a great idea. If you can have the ability to have a therapist, you learn so much about yourself through this whole thing. And
Wow.
it's like, you know, we have that in short films and all the above, right? But there's something about a feature film, and I get it now, where it almost makes you face like the best and worst of yourself. And
Sure.
it's a collaborative process and the loneliest process all at the same time. And so there's so much doubt. There's so much, you know, your crew members, everybody. It's not that they're doubting you. They're trying to make sure they can trust that they're on a good ship. You know, they're trying to make sure that they're in a safe place. And so I think you have the vision in your head the most of anyone. You care the most of anyone, and nobody's going to do that job for you. Nobody's going to remind you even, you know. So being really in touch with like your intuition and you're like knowing when you're doubting yourselves in the right place in the right time, asking for opinions, taking in opinions
Yeah.
at the right time. It all seems really obvious, but when you're, on this too, you're working with people who are maybe more experienced. You go, oh gosh, well maybe they know something I don't know, and maybe I need a second guess, and you're like, but you know what you're doing, and you have the vision, and they might not get it. They might not even get it until post is over.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
seeing it on the screen, and even then they might not get it.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. And so I think that was a big, and then really choose your crew wisely. Or not crew. My crew is amazing. My crew is incredible. Choose your production team
Yes.
very wisely.
Yes.
And I think it's really easy. We want the opportunity, right? We want to make that film, and it's if you make a deal with the devil, you make a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to face those consequences, and I'm so glad I have a feature film made, but. Yeah, I would say if you're feeling a red flag, it's true.
Yeah.
It's probably, it's like dating.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
you're,
let's, if you're willing to talk at all about that experience, share what you're willing to share. But I know that there was a lot of difficulty in making the movie itself, working with this production team, or specifically a person. And is there anything you can share about that, and what kind of takeaways we could glean from that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too specific, because I guess I'm also kind of like, I'm not over it. I just appreciate the learning experience on it in a new way.
Yeah.
I think it's that classic thing of like, having one toxic person on set is all you need.
A virus.
It's really all you need.
Yeah.
And I think it's just hard. Like, what advice do you give except for, trust the voice in your head that goes, hey, that's put your boundaries down, stand up for yourself, make sure it's, very clear. I think one thing I would do, I was sort of separated, partly because of time, as you know, our timeline was crazy.
Right.
So partly because of time, I was somewhat separated from some of the crew or the cast or whoever, right? And so I like to have productions where there's a lot of unity, and I make sure everybody knows the vision.
other
And
and what's
exactly.
going
There's
on.
a lot of community aspect, and our timeline just didn't allow for a lot of those normal things I like to do, which was already tough for me, right? And so I think I didn't understand the part that this person was making up for on the production was the part of producing that I just didn't know as well.
Yeah.
So I also didn't know, there was no check and balance.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I also didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. I didn't know, I was just kind of like, I don't have time. I don't have capacity. I'm just going to roll with the punches. We're doing 13 pages a day.
Wow.
We have 9 characters. Like, we're doing different locations. It wasn't, we've got special effects.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the time to be managing your production team, right?
Yeah.
And there was, and again, everyone, but
Sure.
everyone else is amazing. I don't want to take away from, like, I could not have done it without my team was, really put in the work. But yeah, I think making sure you have a check and balance, making sure those roles are clear, understanding, what that person really did in the past, if it's true, what they can do and accomplish,
Really
what they
vet them.
know.
Yeah.
The vetting process is just make sure you're on the same page, because it's only going to get worse from there. And I know that's advice that everyone gets, right?
No, but I think I've personally never directed or written a feature yet, but I've always had, slight ambition. I've had curiosity and ambition. I like the smaller short form content, but it isn't as obvious as I think we think that it would be, because I really do agree, especially, and I don't mean to pull the gender card, but like as women, like I feel like we really don't know how to set up those boundaries, the right questions to ask. I mean, when I got into it for acting, I didn't know that I could say no, and that sounds really horrible.
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
it's true.
It's true. Unless you have an example of someone before you who kind of outlines it, we really don't know. And so unfortunately from that, it's like, someone suggests something and we put our trust and faith in them because they've done X, Y, and Z productions, we're like, great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. But then to your point, like, we really don't know. So I love what you said. I think vetting is so important, really understanding what they did prior, because I think that goes for actors as well.
Yeah,
like,
big time.
this person directed 1,200 things, but what are they really? Like, where do they... Really,
and what did they do
Right.
on them?
Yes, what did they do on them?
And were they trying to cut corners? And that's like the biggest red flag, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard, female or not, I guess, is just being like, somebody loved your vision, loved your idea, and wants to give you the golden ticket, and you want that so bad. And it is so scary sometimes to stand up for yourself when you go, now that can maybe be taken away from me.
Sure.
And so it's just this, like, it's a scarcity thing, right? And again, going back to your intuition and your value and all these things that your therapist yells at you all the time, and you go, damn it, I thought I worked on this, I thought I got better at this. But so I think like, that was a person who maybe did have the right intentions and maybe just, too big of boots or whatever it was. Unfortunately, I learned a lot about, the ways the politics end up working with that. And so there was a bit of, I don't want to paint the whole production around that because at the end of the day, like, again, I'm so glad all this happened. It was some of it was hell on earth, but like, I'm so glad it happened because I know I love filmmaking enough to to go through all that.
Went through the grind,
and B, it just makes you so like, I know exactly what to look out for now
you do.
in the future. I know how to stand up for myself.
Never gonna happen again.
Yeah, exactly. I know, the ways doubt shows up and I know some of the indicators. And so, and again, like what you said, sometimes you're being told something or you think you've gone through it already and it shows up in a different way and it's presented differently. And so it gets really confusing to go, should I be nervous about that? Is that right? Is that wrong? And so, and I'm speaking very vaguely, I realize that. But I think anybody who's gone through, because I produce my own shorts. I produce, and I've done, producing in different respects with, a company in London and whatever.
It's about problem solving. It's about getting it done.
100%. And that's the mindset I was in. I'm like, let's get this thing done. And and I think, I think it was just like this little gap that I had in producing that I just doubted myself to be like, and took on way too much as far as the producing goes because this person wasn't,
pulling their weight.
Right, exactly.
You had a glaring gap. In the team. On the team. But
I mean, my ensemble is incredible. My team was amazing. Everybody, my DP Dave, like couldn't have done it without him. And
was there a moment where you were battling your gut feeling?
All the time.
Yeah.
Like that like truly was like when I was really sitting with myself after the film because I didn't feel myself sometimes. Like I know that sounds really cheesy, but I'm used to being like, I trust my gut. I don't doubt myself. I know exactly like, no, you might not see my vision. I'm seeing it, and I think it was just like a great lesson for me to be like, never again. I will never have somebody, I'll never go through those mind games again.
Right.
Some of that was relational. Some of that was just the pressure of being like, this is your first thing. Is it going to be good? Is it, I took a couple of big swings of being like, they aren't going to get why this is going to be really fun once we edit this, And so, because you're a first-time filmmaker, sometimes that opens people up to being like, let me tell you my opinion.
Scrutiny.
And you're
my
like,
gosh.
all right.
Right.
Didn't ask, but thank you. I appreciate you're invested enough to, because I love collaboration. I love being like, hey, what do you think? I really like women, especially. I feel like it's not to gender everything,
let's
but
gender everything.
Let's gender it all.
I'll step out.
Get out of here.
But I do think like naturally we're a very collaborative because, again, like we get together in big girl groups and we
Yeah.
talk through all of our problems, like, oh, dating this guy or this and that, right? In my relationships. And you want to get an opinion
Yeah.
of the crowd and you
Yeah.
want to
Sure.
weigh all your options and you want to understand like what's the best way forward. And that doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you want. It just means you're trying to make the best decision
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the goal at hand.
Right. I
Right.
think it's a safety thing.
Oh,
is this
100%.
Is this okay to do?
Is this okay?
Am
Yeah.
I gonna be in trouble here?
Yeah.
It's
No,
such a safety mechanism.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's brilliant because women are brilliant, and I love the community, and I love what you get from it. So
Right, but your gut tells you what you're doing for your vision is right. And so like, yes, feedback is great. Perspectives are great, but there's a point where that doesn't exist on the set. When
Right.
you're like, okay, now it's got to be me driving
Exactly.
the train.
Right.
I've
Exactly.
done all my research and I've gotten my people's opinions and then okay, now that I'm done shooting, maybe it's in post. Yeah, I want to get people's opinions on how this is going or whatever. But like, there's a point where it's like, this is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And
100%.
I'm living with this decision, and you better too.
Yeah, and I think, I think one of the benefits of moving so quickly is that you can't overthink and you do have to be like, hey, those negative voices aren't helpful. And it
Right.
doesn't matter if you want to be negative or not, you don't have the time for it,
Right.
So I think there's a lot of, benefit to that. But yeah, I mean, it was a great lesson in trusting myself. And yes, 99% of the time, I trusted my gut. I stood up for the vision. I, did whatever. But I was just shocked at this new, I'm not used to that, I'm
Right.
not used. So it was, it was like something about making these feature films really puts you through your own hero's journey of like,
Sure.
you really, a lot boils up. And, I think I was praying at night at one point. I was like, I've never done that in my life. I was just
Wow.
like, it was intense because it was just, I also took on a lot of hats because I had to. And that was a lot of contention. A lot of people didn't want me to also act in it. While being writer director.
Yes. What was
Ooh,
that like?
yeah, I wanted to get into that.
I want to know that because
Yeah.
I have a really hard time seeing how that is possible. Did you
Really?
know?
I feel like you do so many things.
Well,
That's
like
crazy.
to act and direct simultaneously, like on the same project. Tell me more about this because I need to hear it. I need to hear. How
I
you
think
did it.
I did get lucky that I had a lot of experience in the shorts doing
Okay.
that,
Okay, fair.
and that wasn't, it's not always my intention to be in what I make, right? It is a great vessel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a lot of conversations on a different project that I wanted to be, it was the only one on my slate I even wanted to be in, but I was like, I really feel strongly, I can do this role really well. They're like, yeah, you're an idiot with this budget, trying to be the director and the actor in it, and you don't have X, Y, and Z value and whatever. I'm like, totally, that's realistic. That's
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. But the little dreamer in all of us is like, but I'm gonna prove them
I'm
wrong,
gonna do it anyway,
Yeah.
Grandpa.
And so I saw this as an opportunity of like, no one else is gonna take the chance on me unless I show them that I can do this.
Yep.
Right.
So I was like,
Preach,
all right,
girl.
I'm gonna act in it. I'm gonna direct it, and now you can see that I can do both things
Yeah.
and accomplish that. And I will say, the acting was the least of my worries. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like, again, you don't have time to overthink it. I, worked with my first AD a lot, Hunter. She is awesome, and, tried to, ahead of time as much as possible, make sure everybody knew what I'm trying to accomplish in my vision and whatever. Because for my takes, we don't have time to do playback. There's none of that.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Especially with moving so fast, are you able to actually step away and look at the monitor and see how you did? Or is it like, I just trust what I was doing,
almost never.
I knew I
Yeah.
nailed it?
Yeah. Which I had a lot of experience with on the shorts.
Okay.
There, a lot of the things we did there, we didn't have time. There's times where I'll be like, I need to see, like, especially, like, I felt weird about the blocking of that or whatever, especially if we had, like, limited shots we were doing. I was like, I want to make sure that, we've got, because, you're editing it together in your head as you go,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, I was kind of like, all right, I just
You're
see
like, I got that take. That's the one I'm going to use. kind of
yeah,
thing.
and every once in a while you surprise yourself that it felt so good, but the one that didn't feel good was actually great, right?
So
And
weird.
so I think I got a little lucky because I'm also the writer. I think there's a lot. I worked with actually a really good acting coach, Annie. feel bad I can't remember her name right now.
You totally remember her name, but first name basis.
Yes, Annie. She's amazing.
Love it.
And so I worked with an acting coach leading up to. So I did all the scenes where I was trying to really get the.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So like
That's
really
so
getting
cool.
into my body for it, and like
Nice.
getting through sort of, because when I was running rehearsals like with the actors leading up to it, I knew we're not going to be getting into any of my stuff. So I worked pretty, like, I think we were meeting like 2 or 3 times a week and just going through, the whole script and,
Wow.
and doing that. So I try to do a lot of the prep, of
course, you have to.
making sure I got all the understanding where I was at with my body and how that was going to be and,
Right.
and feel on camera and read and stuff. So.
What about shots like if there was like a moving shot or a specialty shot that you're in, do you just say, I trust the operator and they
we
got
did
the
a
shot?
lot of like kind of the obvious, which was like we did like had someone stand in and kind of like walk it through a little bit.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
There was, I'm not saying we didn't at all do it. There was
Okay.
definitely like enough times that I checked. But yeah, I mean, Dave and I, like, I had to really just trust. There's a lot of times like I had to just be like, Dave, we went over that. We would, we sat together for, again, very limited timeline, but like, for 2 weeks leading up, we'd sit together for 8 to 10 hours with Barbie dolls, like literally Barbie dolls, and like, sometimes acting it out together, the process.
yeah.
And so we came up with our own shot list, and we were kind of like, this is it now, but there's so many characters. The settings are going to be changing for many reasons. We have a boat scene. We can't even fit all the girls on the boat technically. And,
Right.
so it was going to be, we already knew, like, thank God we have a base, but almost one of those you kind of have to like throw it out the window a little bit and do jazz. You're
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
all right, we have talked this through so much. We have like shot listed it, and we have, I've given him my stick figure storyboards that are really embarrassing to share.
Those are great.
Yeah,
And,
I have those.
yeah, I know. I showed my boyfriend. I was like, "Oh, I found my like notebook full of like all the storyboards,"
Yeah.
and he just started dying laughing. He was like, "Wait, I thought these were gonna be like cool, like intricate, like whatever." I was like, "What the heck?"
I was about to be impressed.
Yeah, and he just like, "I'm so sorry," like can't stop laughing, and it's a stick figure with big eyes, like
Oh,
woo,
no.
whatever.
Hey, at least it had eyes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, exactly, and we matched a lot of it. So I was like,
My question is from kind of a selfishly from the actor point of view, like how do you feel like because you didn't watch playback or because you just were so focused on so many other things at the same time, did that hinder performance, or were you okay with what you did?
I
or-
mean, I started to realize, like, for all the things going on, I was like, pat on the back, Mall. Like, I mean, there's definitely moments where I'm like, yeah, that probably could have been better or whatever. Thank God I had a couple people that I trusted and kind of pointed. I mean,
Okay.
I think every actor would say, make sure you know exactly who is the only person allowed to give feedback,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because then otherwise it just turns into everyone's
Yeah.
decides it's a conference. You're like, no, hold on, that's not what's
You're
going
like,
on.
well.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess, everyone has their different things. They can kind of do a couple things at once. And for whatever reason, acting in the scene and also directing, like I still redirect the actors and, between takes and everything. And
Yeah.
obviously ask for some feedback because I'll feel it pretty well. It'd be
Okay.
like, hey, did that work? Or did I like not deliver that line,
Right.
in the way that I needed to? I was really trying to hit this mark, but I
Right.
don't know if it read, So I definitely trying to like kind of keep the notes going inside
Cool.
for myself. And
Yeah.
then I'm clocking, other people. So I guess people will decide when they see it. They
Right.
might just be like, ooh, or,
No.
I pulled it off. I don't know.
I never thought otherwise.
No.
I am always so intrigued and fascinated and impressed, especially knowing that you did that. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I just feel like I would explode.
No.
I don't
you
think you
crush
would.
it. You would crush
I think
it.
you'd be a lot better than you, because you have
Maybe.
a producer brain too. So
Oh,
you're
God.
able to think of 20
yeah.
things at once.
I've
know,
watched
I like
her.
that,
I've watched her
though.
get when she's in it, like you're in the trenches. It's just get it done. Like there's no idea of like I'm getting panicked or anxiety about it. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in the trenches and you have to accomplish the mission.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like I'm sure you both played sports growing up, but like when you're at that adrenaline point in a sport, you truly are thinking of like the person behind you, the next play, the defender coming up this way, the goal that way. You're thinking of all those things at once. And I think that's kind of the rush for me is like when I'm especially apparently with no time to do anything. I
Yeah,
think that's how I
under the
feel. I
gun.
feel like I'm
Yeah.
in a game again, and I'm like,
cool.
you know, acting and directing and maybe a little bit of producing on accident. But you know, I think that's where I get to. So I would try it and see, you know, if you like the same adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Rip my face off,
Well,
but maybe.
you brought up the producing angle again. I want to touch on this because you did take on more producing responsibilities, and there was a rumor that I heard through an acting friend of ours, Syra McCarthy,
Love her.
that this location, the cabin that it takes place at, there was kind of some story of how that even came about, like how you were hunting down the location.
Yeah. I love the location part
was so cool.
I'm in California.
Yeah.
I really wanted to
Hey.
shoot it in California, which we did, Lake Tahoe. Yeah, which was awesome.
Wow.
I know. It was great. But we had miracles happening.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, every guardian angel out there is helping me out right now. But so this house is like this really it's built around boulders. So they built it in like the 50s when permits were like $40 or something.
Wow.
And basically, like, I guess her husband just like drew a random design and was like, great, we don't want to change the environment or whatever, the landscape. So they just put the house on top of it. So there's like massive boulders in there and whatever.
Wow.
And
Oh
so
my
I was like,
gosh.
this has to be the house. Hunted the person down because she's like a 89-year-old woman or something. She's like
Wow.
89, 90, something like that. Unbelievable shape. Like when I went to go visit the house, I went with my sister, and at the time she had like a 6-month. Her son was only 6 months.
Yeah.
So I had to bring the baby with us, and I was like, I'm sorry, I know this isn't like professional, but you know, my whatever. She was so in love with my nephew and was like, look how chubby he is, and like so excited. She came from Austria,
Oh,
has a whole
wow.
story about World War II, and like, you know, it's crazy. And so she was like, well, my mom, she always wanted a chubby baby when she was younger, but she never got one because of obvious reasons, World War II. And
Yeah.
and so saw Van and was like, I really like you. I like have a good feeling about you, and I want your dreams to come true. And so she gave us what their normal like nightly rate is. She gave us for 20 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a little bit of me being like, well, I don't know if we can afford it and whatever. But I was just being genuine.
honest.
Really. I was
Yeah.
just like, this is
gorgeous.
incredible.
Yep.
Like, I can't tell you. And this is what the story is about and whatever. And she just kind of got this like happy feeling and then goes, do you want to go kayaking with me? I was like,
Did you say
No
yes?
way.
well, so I had said yes, then the schedules didn't align and whatever.
Oh,
But
man.
she carries her own. She's like 90 or something, and she carries her own kayak into this other lake.
Wow.
And like I don't know.
There
It
you
was.
go.
It's not like Tahoe. She like hikes it into a whole
Oh my
different.
gosh.
She's amazing. She's who I want to be when I'm older.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Use it or
She's amazing.
lose it. She's using it.
Yeah, so
Oh
it was
my
a cool
gosh.
little, and then my sister lives up there, and so she helped, like all of her friends chipped in trying to help us out with boats, and my Uncle Craig drove his boat up, and
Uncle Craig.
yeah, and it was like everyone saving the day for me. I'm like, thank you for making this come true. You know, it was just
Yeah.
like everyone was on board with the dream, which
Yeah.
meant it's a crazy feeling when everybody cares about your dream, you know, and they're like, yeah, we want this for you. You're like, oh
"Oh,
my God,
thank
you know,
you."
yeah.
Yeah.
Scariest moments of my life, but yes, you know,
Because $1,000 budget is not a lot.
yeah.
$1,000?
Sorry, 100,000.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And
Or
it's not.
1,000, you know.
In the end, it was not.
Right,
You know,
'cause
it
you did
was
a lot with that.
It went. You know, there was some budgeting issues just because it turns out inexperience and you know happened to not be what I thought, but that's okay. We all got through it, right? Our editor Sabrina Plisko, who is also a producer on it now, she really helped in post with like sound packages, and I mean, her career is crazy. The fact that she was like, yeah, I want to help on this project she's like a legend, and you know, she's the president of ACE. She's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, she's the president of ACE, and I was just like, I thought I was having a phone call with her. One of my very good friends, Jimmy Gadd, bless him, I couldn't have done this film without him. He connected me with her for advice. I just was like looking for advice.
Amazing.
And then I told her the story, and she was like, well, send me the script. I don't have, my project just got pushed. Send me the script. And I was like, well, all right, just kind of be like, she'll give me more advice.
Yeah,
and,
right?
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then she
sure.
read it and had her daughter read it too. And they both loved it.
No
and she's like, hey, I want to invest in new talent. Our colorist was the same way. Shélah Brooks, did wonders for us.
Wow.
Was like, I'm trying to, invest in new talent and helped us out immensely. I could literally my post team, composer, Justin Gray, doing my, I wanted to do the 80s synth pop horror.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
love the
good.
music.
The
It was
music
so
is
good.
so
I wanted it
fun.
all to feel like an 80s
it's so
movie.
fun.
And
It was inspiring, man. I was like, we need bring back the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
bring
We
it
needed
back.
those scorching guitar solos with the extra reverb.
Exactly. I know. And
I'll melt.
The hot naked body.
Yeah.
Not saying there are any, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, there might be.
Like
There might be.
What are the 80s to you?
Yeah, what
They're
are
all hot naked bodies.
A little homoerotic. Honestly, I just think of what is it with the airplane ones. Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Tom
Top
Cruise.
Gun.
Top
Oh,
Gun.
right.
That's quintessential in my mind. 1980s.
Well, we use that as reference a lot. Like when I came to Dave, there was almost zero horror reference. It was all 80s, obviously bits and bobs of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it was just full on 80s. He's like, what? You're not even you're not old enough for that. I'm like, yes, I'm the perfect age because we idolize. What is that word?
Aspired for.
Yeah, right. We were
Yeah.
the 80s. I remember being like, I'm so sad I didn't live in that time period. Just I don't know. I mean, so I just had too much fun with
it was evident.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, and it was cool that everyone else was like, really? They'd be like, you want to go that far? I'm like, yeah, so it was
God, you have
fun
to.
that,
You absolutely have to. Because now I'm kind of a fan of Tubi. I don't know if that's
Oh, yeah.
but because Tubi has all the classics.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have all of them from the 80s and whatnot. So I've started to kind of get on an 80s
love
kick.
that. I love that.
And it is so nostalgic, but also just the most amazing thing because it's
Yeah.
unhinged in its
Yeah.
own way.
Unhinged and happy, and you're totally okay with it.
Yeah.
You're totally okay
Yeah,
with it.
it's totally questionable in terms of how the women were portrayed, but it was
Yeah,
still
right.
kind of fun.
Well, wait,
We
there
did
were...
just watch, what was it? Peggy Sue Gets
Peggy
Married
Sue.
with
Oh,
Nicolas
God.
Cage.
Oh
And
god,
Jim Carrey.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
It was Nicolas Cage was just
He was
weird.
so punchable.
And they were
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
want that.
He was the
Yeah.
stud.
I
There's
know.
literally-
The stud of the
the
movie.
ending scene is him saying I got tired of the woman I cheated on you with, and so I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
And she
she's
was like,
That's
it's
so sad.
bad, but
Oh, that's so
looking
sad.
back on it, there's
I
a
know.
charm about
My
Yes.
grandma, my mom, we're big movie night people together.
Oh,
and so
love
I
that.
go to my grandma's and we get red wine and we watch tons of dumb 80s movies like Dirty Rotten
good.
Scoundrels and all these different things
my
together, right? And
love
so
that.
it's so much fun. And so our thing is that. So she'll always text me out of the blue, watching da-da-da. And it is I'll watch it and it'll be kind of empowering and then also it have its moments.
Well,
and
he slapped
Yeah.
her, but she's okay with it.
Yeah.
Tootsie is maybe the most empowering, and it's not even
Which one's Tootsie? Because I keep seeing that.
Dennis Hoffman. Yeah, is that
Dennis
right?
Hoff?
Is that his? Is that his?
Dennis
Whoa,
Quaid?
I'm having a
There's
moment.
Dennis Quaid.
No, it's Dustin Hoffman.
There you go.
What is wrong with me?
You knew
okay.
something was wrong though. so-
Oof, it's a D name.
Yeah.
But Dustin Hoffman, and he I think he gets kicked off the air or something,
Yeah.
and so he starts. He gets a gig, but he's dressing as a woman.
Oh.
So he's cross-dressing as a woman, and at the time, it was it actually was a very feminist script. And I remember he had said at some point, Dustin Hoffman, in real life, said something about doing it because he's like, well, if a woman can't get the lead to get this message across, then I'll do it.
Wow.
That was, that's not the exact words, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
something like that where
Yeah.
he was like, I believed in women should have have this voice. And so he has to learn what being a woman's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
by, and
Oh,
the
interesting.
relationships with the other women. And he's kind of just a shitty dude, but then has to learn
I love
That's
it.
fun.
yeah.
I love it. It's the one where the guy can read women's brains.
Oh, Mel
Mel Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah.
I think it
yeah.
was a 90s one though.
Oh, yeah.
but
What Women Want.
What Women
Yeah.
Want.
Yeah.
There's
Ew.
always some kind of iteration and it plays. But yes, so same
Yeah.
thing. So Tootsie, I'll have to add that to my watch list.
Yeah.
So I know that we'll get into where the film is going and what the plans are for it and all that stuff, but it made me think of like film festivals for you.
Yeah.
And like I have always known you to be aggressively in the film festival circuit in some way, shape, or form, regardless if you have a film there. Like I've run into her multiple times at Sundance and like other festivals over the years. And I'm curious, from somebody who like goes to festivals with like the networking part of it in mind, what do people get wrong when it comes to networking? Like, like for instance, I knew something that I got wrong early on was this idea of coming in with something and having to like, everybody is a sale,
Right.
Like, and my pivot for me later on is I kind of just didn't like the sale part of it. And I knew that I would want to be working with people that I really liked.
Yeah.
So that meant
Big time.
I was more interested in getting to know people than I was going and trying to sell a project that I was there for.
I think that's like the number one, in any industry, I'd hope. But big time in ours is like, I think I would start there for sure, is just being like the actual interactions you're having with people is truly just have an interaction genuinely, just being yourself, letting them get to know you, getting to know them, not going straight for the, jugular of what do you do? What can you do for me? This is what I'm doing. Hear my pitch, whatever. And I know that's advice that's been given over and over again, but I think sometimes in networking environments, it can be nerve-wracking. And what do you talk about? And what do you bring up,
Right.
And I think like the more you're not going into it, I think we've all as filmmakers gone into things with goals, right? We go in and we go, okay, well, I need to sell my film, or, oh, I need to get finance for my film, or whatever. I think when you naturally let things happen and you let people kind of get to know you as a person and just genuinely like, hey, really liked you, let's keep connecting. The amount of times I've made connections, and because, after any festival or market or whatever, you have all your follow-ups, right? You've got your litany of however many contacts or whatever that you have. You should absolutely do a follow-up and a meeting with every single one of those people, no matter if they're in the department that you think is going to help you at all. Because for the most part, and I'm sure you guys have had this, you get on the call and they go, well, what are you doing right now? And like, what are your goals and whatever?
Right.
And each person is trying to go, okay, well, who do I have in my Rolodex, or who do I have that I can help you out with? So you just like, that whole network is your net worth thing. Like it's any industry, but especially ours. And even more importantly, if they like you as a person, they'll vouch for you.
Yeah.
And that is, that's like the biggest thing in our industry is like, if they're able to say valid stamp of approval, I like this person, I'm willing to stick my neck out and say you should meet. And they go, well, they don't seem like that big of a filmmaker. They don't seem to be doing too much. It's like, I'll do it anyway because this person vouched for you, right? And so
huge.
I think that's why it's so important to like truly just make relationships as a human and like just being friends with them. Because we all know, as I learned too, you got to trust the person that you're gonna go into business with, and all those jokes about like it's like going into bed with someone. It really is, there's almost nothing closer, marriage.
Yeah,
crazy.
for sure.
And so I think that's something that people get wrong, which again, somewhat cliche, but I think is worth reiterating.
Very important to reiterate.
I think also that if there's not something for you there, or you don't have X, Y, and Z plan or whatever, that it's not worth going. And I think that's bullshit. I think that every single, festival that I've gone to or market or whatever, I've always gained something, whether, it's knowledge or intel or, just whatever's going on in the industry, or actually, meeting some people that I wouldn't have met before. We stay in touch. Maybe 10 years down the road, I'm calling them up being like, I finally, whatever. And I think like, I think that's a big, like, you're always going to gain something, and I realize that it also is, it's time and money. I'm not saying that, I just think depending on where you're at, it's worth investing in something that could get you in this door or that door.
Yeah, you really never know.
You don't know.
You never know.
When you are, Roth knows I call him up all the time, being like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
What do I do? Because I don't work as much like in VFX, special effects. You know so much about that. Having that network to be able to call him up and be like, if it's advice or if it's, do you know to vet this guy? Can you do you know a line producer? You know, like it's,
Yeah.
and, you know, I know that sounds simple, but.
And you
know,
trust him as much as he trusts you
Yeah.
because he's
we're
good
we're
people.
friends now and like all the above.
Yeah.
So like I know it seems obvious, but I mean, when you build relationships with people over however many years, it's like, you know,
It
really
sounds
comes.
obvious, and maybe it is to a degree, but it's more than that. It's practical, and I feel
Yeah.
like we always overthink it. We make it harder than it needs to be, and I think
Yeah.
that's where we kind of overstep or forget the obvious. Because
Yeah.
that's a great point. Because when I think of film festivals, I usually think of intent. I think of, okay, well, I have a film, let's go mingle. Like very rarely do I say, you know, oh, this one's happening, I need to go even though I don't have anything. Like that just doesn't typically cross my mind. So I think that's a wonderful reminder.
Yeah.
And a follow-up to that, where do you or how do you know which film festivals to go to?
I mean, you know, it started with ones you get into, right? That makes the most sense. And then another moment I thought I could get around the system. I've told Roth this a million times, but
Are you free to share the secret?
Yeah, well, it's not. I think it's impossible now. I think time has ruined. But I'm sure there's a version you could do. But I was like, well, shoot, if I want to, you know, be directing films and I need big producers to do so, and I want to be acting in films, then. Where's the best place to go? The biggest market in the world. Let's go to Cannes, you know?
Yeah.
And so at 19, I was like, I lied my way into the producers program.
No
And they accepted me, and I was like, okay. And then I had some other friends going who let me
badass.
crash like on their couch or something.
Nice.
You know, because I'm like, I don't have money. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know?
It's so expensive during that time, too.
Oh, yeah, so gnarly. I mean, I think I lost like 15 pounds because I'm like, well, I haven't eaten. You know,
Yeah,
you're just
wow.
like,
no.
or you're running from thing to thing,
Yeah.
right? And so I spent that, I was like, well, I got to maximize this time, right? So I'm in this producer's program. I'm doing all the networking.
wild.
And I'm going to all the events. And I was like, I mean, Roth knows it's extremely unhealthy, but I would go till like 4 or 6 in the morning and then start up again at 9 a.m. And I'd do that for like a week, if not
like
more.
networking?
Yeah.
Or-
Oh,
So it was just like as much networking as I could do. And my whole thing was like, you just don't, it sounds insane, but you don't know who you're going to meet at like 3 and 4 in the morning. And it's not to go party, right? For me, it's like in Cannes, slowly but surely, people all end up in one area because there's nothing more to do. So at 3 or 4 in the morning, you might have like the best pool of people to network with and get
wild.
there, you know.
Wow.
And so like I left there with like literally like 400 business cards and just follow and just kept that network going. And so that's been like something I do almost every year. A lot of friends have helped out over the years of like, can I crash on your couch and whatever. But I do that. I mean, that network has been 20-fold for me. I
That's
just like,
insane. I imagine
so, you know, depending on how you do it, how you want to, can be many different, you know, it's many different experiences.
Yeah.
True.
Very
We just
much.
brought it up actually for a potential thing that we're working on as well as a potential avenue. Because it is still, I think, very lucrative.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Big time.
you do have to like there's ways to do cans that you have to
Yes.
do in the right way,
Yes.
right? Like you can't
slip
just
your way into a production.
or you can't just like
program.
show up and expect like
lie
you're
your
gonna
way through everything.
Yeah. You can't just show up and like expect to like walk into the rooms, right? Like there is an element of like maybe you do get the festival pass because that gets you into the other parties, or like doing the research ahead of time, talking to the people ahead of time that are going to be going there and being like, hey, I'm going to be hanging out. I want to see you. Like, what are you going to be doing while you're there? What parties are going to be going on? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And getting that so you're not like rushing around trying to figure out what party is going on so that you can go to it.
That's the thing. It's like this weird balance too, right? Because you want your schedule to have some things on it, but you want to have the flexibility that, you know, you don't know when you're at whatever meeting or event and they go, hey, I'm going to this event. You want to come with me? I think I got a +1. And you go, great. That's a better event than I could have gotten into.
Yeah.
And you just don't know, right? And so you have to have a weird flexibility. And then you also are setting meetings and making sure you're rearranging those on the fly and whatever. And it's like, it is a fun little rat race, but it's, you know, and, you know, Cannes is just a crazy, it's changed so much over the years. But you're right. There's a way to do it, and there's a lot of prep work that goes into it, hopefully. But again, another place that you should not try and, you'll feel like a failure if you go being like, I'm going to accomplish this goal.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
kind of be open to like, yeah, these are my goals, but I kind of have to just see what fish are in the sea.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
wow.
And, you know, not to make everyone just like a networking thing, because I do
Yeah.
love all the people, you know, in my
Yeah, they're
they
all
become
right.
friends. You know, they're my friends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
They're people you bring into your communities. So did you go to this past one?
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
did go. So, yeah, that was
How
great.
was it this year? How did it compare?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, I mean, kind of the word, you get the word on the street a little bit, right? And so usually in the trades, you know, everybody, it feels like Wall Street a little bit. Everybody like walking through the market, they get their, you know, variety and their
extra.
deadline.
Read
Yeah,
all
exactly.
about it.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you're used to seeing a lot more sales, this and that sold, this and that sold,
Oh.
and so it's obviously extremely slow. People are extremely risk averse, very trepidatious. And so, you know, obviously, like the industry is interesting right now, but it's the Wild West, and there's got to be opportunity in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting.
Pre-COVID film festivals, you would see regularly the film being bought before it premiered.
Right.
Like regularly, they'd be like, "We know it's from this director. We're going to get that film. A24's offered this. Neon's offered
my
this.
gosh.
Netflix offered this.
These
Amazon
are the
offered this.
Sundances, though,
Sundances
right?
or Cannes.
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
And, okay.
But then post-COVID, everybody's so risk averse. They're like, we're going to see how the audience reacts.
Yeah.
How long is the standing ovation for this
Right.
movie? You know,
Well,
like-
and then on top of that, they're like, it's like they've made every part of our process chicken and egg, like literally every part. It's like when you go to package your film, you know, you got to have finance to get the cast, but to get the
Yes.
finance, you need the cast,
Cast.
right?
Right.
Then you finally get somehow by miracles, you get this damn film made, right? And then
Right.
they go, well, you need a built-in audience if
Right.
if we're gonna buy it now and
Oh
like
my
whatever. And so
gosh.
obviously those bigger name films there's a lot of pre-sales happening
Right.
and a lot more value with the names attached,
Right.
which I think's bullshit. I think names don't actually hold as much value
Yeah.
at all. I think it's
Not
the most
anymore.
false statement of all time. Everything's marketing based.
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't learned this lesson.
You know what's interesting is that I think you're right in the UK and America markets, but names still very much hold in
International.
China and
Interesting.
Japan and Italy.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because also China getting movies far later from America
Yeah.
than anybody else in the world. I think it wasn't until like mid 2000s when China finally got to see American movies, and then they re-released all the Star Wars movies, and that was like their first exposure to
That's
American
crazy.
films.
That's
and
crazy.
so like, yeah, there are American faces that they're like, we're interested in going to see the movie because
Yeah.
of them. So when you're looking at pre-sales and that kind of stuff and you're packaging your movie, you're hearing more conversation around how it's going to do internationally rather
Yeah.
than domestically.
It is interesting because, you know, normally your domestic pretty much tells you what you're going to make internationally as a whole and every
Yeah.
territory as a whole. And you're right, like the conversation is changing because no one has money here or apparently not, you
Yeah.
know. And so, I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about this a lot. Like I really believe in leveraging marketing over, you know, names, you know, and that's only because I'm an indie filmmaker and,
Same.
you know, I've gone through the process of
Yeah.
trying to package your film and it's just lunacy,
Yeah.
you know. But, yeah, you know, if I got to work with Sam Rockwell tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad about that. You
Yeah,
know?
sure.
Like, I'd be stoked about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and I want names to hold value. I don't want, you know, movie stars to go away. You know,
Right.
that's part of the cog in the machine. But yeah, I you know, we both have talked, like, gotten very frustrated about trying to change people's minds. And I think people get their bit of knowledge and they hold on to it, and that's their value they have in the industry. And so when that knowledge is being, you know, told like, no, there's a new way of doing things, people, you know, are like, well, then that means I don't have value and you're wrong. And,
Right.
you know,
Right.
no, we can't sell your film. And you're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
You know?
interesting
Right.
too because something that I think we're seeing across all industries based off of just the new wave of the next generation of workers
Yeah.
and how they think and how they operate, they're not looking for the person who's been in the business for 20, 15
No.
years. And I speak mainly from like a tech point of view too, but it's a very interesting phenomena that we're seeing where it's like actually the younger minds, the newer minds are kind of becoming the more attractive ones. And maybe this has always been a standing thing, but I feel like to what you're saying is you don't want someone who's been in this industry for 15 years because now they're stuck on the things that they did 15 years ago. But
Right.
the industry as is proven and seen happening right now is different.
Yeah.
And the name talent that they are so, ready to die over being what's going to sell the movie no longer applies to your point, because people don't want to see the same faces anymore. We had the same conversation a couple podcasts ago where it's like people want more authenticity than they ever have, especially with AI. They don't want to see regurgitated slop. They don't want to see Shark Attack 15, series. They want to see an original idea with what I believe original and fresh faces. And so, again, just reiterating, someone who might be stuck in the old ways of doing something, I don't think that's going to really be helping.
Well, yeah, I'm not at all. And, it's just going to naturally happen that, I just think it's hard because, data in our industry wasn't super used until pretty recently. And even now people are still pretty, averse to it.
Yeah.
But then, to your point about the, names in films and stuff like that, I think like a Ryan Gosling, he's going to pick a good script. He's going to pick a good movie. There's a trust you
him
have.
to do, trust him to do.
And then
work.
there's the other actors where you just love them in an action movie, and why the heck are you doing a drama? And then there's the comedians like an Adam Sandler. You go, holy shit, he's doing a drama. I gotta see this. And then he's amazing and all the things. So I think it's just there's no one way to cut it,
Right.
And I think that's the problem is that everyone is trying to have these one or two answers. I have a friend in the finance side who's absolutely brilliant, and she's basically they lend for films and she's brilliant at spreadsheets and basically mitigating risk and understanding how to do that. And I think she's got some genius matrix that she has not shared with the world, but I don't think she's ever missed. She's
Wow.
she's brilliant. And
Does she do stock?
I mean, she does debt finance mostly and that kind of
gotcha.
thing. So, which is
Okay.
obviously the new only way to make a film. It's
Right,
that
right.
and tax credits, but
Gap financing?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
there's not a lot. Private equity is such a crazy thing now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just I think that's how she looks at it. Is not one name means this over all the
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
But does she factor on that as a factor when she's doing
It has to
editing?
be part of the factor, yeah. Especially because, with sales companies, it's kind of a multi-factor thing. It's a really trustworthy producer. That's a huge one. And then it's cast and pre-sales. So basically what sales company they brought on, if they trust them for pre-sales
So that's
and
what
that sort of a thing.
pre-sales is. Okay.
Yeah, and then tax credit. And so...
Which California, how are we doing with that?
So, yeah, I mean...
SF is coming in hot, though.
Yeah, well, so the problem we're still running into with competing against tax credits internationally is that we still only give tax credits for below the line. So if we were to go to the UK where they offer a 40% incentive, that covers your actors too. So if you have a star who's costing you $10 million, at least 40% of that is covered.
Which is usually a huge part of it.
That's
Huge
yeah.
part of it.
Massive part.
Where if you're doing it in California, you're only covering the crew, right?
Do you
And, yeah.
remember, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but do you remember in San Francisco, Dave,
Yeah.
he was running this producers group, and we would meet monthly
Yeah.
with the SF Film Commission,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
begging them to create their own program.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this little, 10 producers.
Yeah.
And we would just talk to the SF Film Commission being it's not really totally fair that SF Film is almost dying because we're just getting, blazed over
Yeah.
by everything in LA, which now I'm please come back to LA.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
no, wait, no. But now, the new mayor apparently I haven't read up on it too much, but finally has done his own incentive for San Francisco, I think.
Well, I hope
So-
I hope that comes through because I don't know if you remember this, but years ago we had one. And it would get gobbled up every time a show came to town. So
That was it. That's what
I think it
everyone
was
was, yeah.
Sense 8 had come to San Francisco,
and
and they
probably
basically
looking
blew
and-
through the incentive in 1 year.
Okay, well,
Yeah, and so it's okay, so how did that help maintain
Anything else. Yeah.
for the film industry in
Oh,
the
so
Bay
it's
Area?
a one or done project.
It's such a
kind
beautiful
of,
city.
and the thing is there there's opportunity for the film industry to exist in the Bay Area beyond what it is now. I mean, you have the sound stages that they built out in Treasure Island. They were used for the
They were on Treasure
Transformers.
Island?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I might be. I know it's Treasure Island or one of the islands going across the bridge.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I think so. But
Alcatraz.
they have a soundstage out there that the Transformers used, and
The
like
acoustics are
and I don't know how
incredible.
often
Amazing.
they get used. And then you have
Wow.
Lucasfilm that's up there at Skywalker
Yeah, I
Ranch,
forgot
and
about
there's opportunity, but it's just so expensive in the Bay Area to be honest when it comes to hiring crew and that kind of stuff because
Commercial.
the commercial and corporate world has created an economy for anybody who's working in that industry to earn almost double what they would make working on a film
Probably
set.
triple.
Yeah, literally.
yeah,
I mean,
it's-
it got so hard to make short films where, I mean, you run out of favors, obviously, at some point, and you're like, I get it. I'm so sorry. I promise you I'm trying to have more money for the next one.
Right.
And thank you to all those people for
Yeah,
letting
seriously.
letting me make anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was the hardest part, them being like, well, or drop out the day before.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
We had that on I guess it wasn't crew necessarily. We had our lead actress drop out on it was for a good reason. Like it was a family emergency and it all made sense, but it was 3 days before we were shooting. And so the girl who plays my sister in it, Emily Kincaid, she came on 3 days before.
Wow.
We recasted that role within like 24 hours and
Wow.
it was just like I trust you and
my gosh.
we're doing it.
And she was great.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to give major props to her because, playing like, by the way, my sister's not crazy at all. I just needed that dynamic to work.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. you
And
did.
she's a beautiful, amazing human. And she's like, Molly, everyone's going to think that I'm nuts. I'm like, I swear, nobody's going to
It's not a biopic.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So I was like, I just needed this to be, for reasons of the characters and the story and, drama.
she.
Yeah. And so, and she let me, use her kid and everything. And it's
I
just-
love that.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it's been and what it continues to be is kind of the pulling on the favors. But talking back
Yeah.
about like the Bay Area and film and whatnot, it just it is a bummer and it is really expensive. And I don't know if there's a solution for it.
Well, I think having a tax incentive would be great. You'd have to make it so worthwhile that the people who are making a lot more money doing this stuff would be able to also do this for less because there's opportunity for both. I do remember that after the fires had taken place in Pasadena and Altadena and all that stuff, the Palisades, there was a lot of hurt for work in LA and a lot of LA productions had left. So then the San Francisco production suffered because all of these people that
Were
were
going up
there and they had far more experience on the stuff they were doing in LA. And so they were going up doing the corporate and commercial
And
stuff up
getting
there.
all the-
And so you're seeing all these people that were doing it up there for, a
my
good chunk of time
gosh.
being kicked out. Well, not kicked out, but shoved to the side because
yeah.
these guys who had been doing it forever are coming up and doing, and commuting.
Yeah, that's
Because they're still
crazy.
making way more money doing the corporate video stuff.
I mean, it's fair. Like, it's the survival, right? And it's like,
You have to do it.
we get it, but
Yeah.
oh god, I don't know. The Bay Area film world I want to. All I have ever wanted to do is shoot a whole film up there.
Yeah.
but it's just like the most scenic, beautiful place.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Our
but-
good friend Tracy. Do you know Tracy? Well, I don't know why.
I
you
don't
would
know.
Tracy
yes.
Hayes.
She's a powerhouse director. She's killing it. She's been a director for
Female
10 plus years.
directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
ayo.
Born and raised in the Bay Area. Her dream role, her dream project is to film back in the Bay Area. So it's definitely on the radar. But I
Yeah.
feel like you guys would. Get
Yeah,
along
more
well.
female
And
director friends.
It's
yeah.
definitely possible. It's absolutely possible to shoot in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But,
illegally. I do it all the time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how I cut my teeth, right?
Yeah,
Is
totally,
just,
yeah.
What's
You
a
could
permit?
shoot anywhere.
I mean, I've had a couple cop chase it, little run-ins and doing the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, I'm a student at Tienza.
Right. Yeah. Right. And now I'm like, I can't be a student
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't pull that off anymore.
These are my students at Dianza. I'm
Right.
the teacher.
Right.
This is
I'm teaching them valuable lessons about guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very much possible, but but once you start to get into the bigger budget ranges, that's when it's like it gets very expensive to shoot there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and also one of my favorite things about film is the problem solving and how you figure out how to do something
I love that.
with no money and it
Yeah.
still ends up being better for the story and you MacGyver this and that or whatever. You are the master of it. Like you are the actual, like I will sometimes like be like proud of myself for little stupid things and like being, problem solving on the fly. And then I hear something Roth that I'm like, you did what? Like, I was like, damn it! Like what? Do I not know what I'm doing?
No,
like, what the
not at all. It's
hell?
just because the problem hasn't been presented to you yet.
I like that.
That's
I like
the
that
only
a lot.
thing. I know that you're a problem solver, and I've heard about how you handled your feature film and what you got for it and all those things. That was problem solving.
Yeah.
You haven't been presented having to roll a van down a hill,
Right.
And that's why I did a
hasn't been
miniature
part of it
set.
yet.
Like that.
I was gonna say I think one of the reasons why is because he is wildly delusional.
Yes, very much so.
That's how you gotta be
in
like
the
though.
best way though, because I
You
think
have
as
to.
a writer, and I do this, I don't have your level of experience, but like I feel like we write within the scope of what we have and what we know and what we
Yes.
like feel like is feasible. He's like, I'll fucking care. He's like, I want a van to fall down
Totally.
a hill.
Well, no, I think.
And then figures it out.
How do you make it
Yeah,
happen?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I hear what you're saying there, but I did go that route when I first started writing. Was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And that was getting in the way of my writing.
Sure.
Because I would be,
Like
I would be
producer
constant, I would
brain.
be editing
Yeah.
as I'm writing, and that wasn't the way to do it. So then the transformation was, I'm just going to write what I think is best for whatever the story is, and then by the time I got to the end, I was like, okay, now how do we do it?
Yeah.
I did on accident. I did a equivalent of the van rolling down the hill. Not as cool and crazy, but like I wrote that Western like during COVID, and then I got so excited.
West?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I
yes,
got so
yes.
excited
Name.
about it, I just started like calling up people I wanted to be in it and hire. And then I got a whole crew together and I said, holy shit, how am I going to make this? It's got like horses and a whole Western town
Yes.
and like all this stuff. And I was also like, wait, it's COVID? Like how is
Oh
any
my
of this
gosh.
happening? And like we had like limited, you're only allowed to have 12 crew members
Yeah.
or whatever it
Oh,
is, or,
wow.
total. So like
Yep.
cast and crew. And so I was just like, I only figured it out because like van roll down the hill because I got way ahead of myself and then
Wow.
went, oh, I've got
Yeah.
to work backwards,
And did it work out?
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
yeah. Yeah,
Did you
it
make
did.
this
We made it. Yeah, it's only 20 minutes, so it was meant to be a proof of concept.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
trying to make the feature version, which is what I wanted to make before this film. And
so is that
again, I'm so glad I did this
Yeah.
first and,
Yeah.
really like, learned so much and,
Yeah.
again, learning your brand, learning how to
Yeah.
But
on
there
set.
was a lot of really cool things that you pulled off in that like, for instance, the horses
Yeah.
scenario. How did you even get horses for that shoot?
Well, I knew I wanted to shoot
Did
it.
you flip a horse?
And so, classic. I drove up. I basically just kept driving and stopping at each ranch.
See,
that I
that's
saw.
what I'm saying. She would
Yeah.
just stop at places.
Yeah, and just be
Yeah,
like,
he told me the story.
yeah, and it
Yes.
worked. And these guys, it
What-
was a what's it called when you go up a hill with horses and they follow each other.
Horse trail?
They were like trail horses, but like when you go overnight, pack horses. They were pack horses,
gotcha.
and so they're like super intense about like they don't want to be separated. They're trained to be as close together as possible, and so the difficulty on that was I did a trial run with the horses, but I didn't think of what if you have to separate them, and so they did not like that. Like there was a lot of scenes I was getting on a horse while it was like literally doing this, and I'm trying to hold it down and then
my
like tell my
gosh.
DP like, all right, you ready? And like she would be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, okay, action. And I'm like there was one shot I put a foot in one of the holsters, and as I was trying to get myself up,
my
this thing
gosh.
takes off because the only way we could get it to run is if we put the other horse at the end of the canyon, which sounds terrible. And I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that's me.
No,
but,
it's not terrible.
But it was what it was, and like we were just trying to get this one shot, and so this thing like takes off as fast as it can. I have one foot
Oh my gosh,
in, and
no.
I'm like swinging my body around like onto the other side of it. So
Did
it was
it
I
like
bet that looks
Did it
so
look
sick.
epic?
the shittiest part was like it was a drone shot, so like you can't see like that part very well,
specific-
but the rest
yeah.
of the shot's super cool.
That's
Like
cool.
it's such a like riding through that canyon. Like
can't even
as
imagine.
sunset was happening, I was just
Oh my
like, I am in the Wild West. I am a
That must have
cowgirl.
been
This
Yeah,
is so
there's no
cool.
pretend in that moment.
Yeah,
You're
it
like,
was.
This is
it was
reality.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that was like those moments where film is like
See,
so cool and
Yeah.
like so
That's
awesome.
where I hate CGI.
That's where you want that like Black Beauty moment, riding on the beach,
She got
splashing
it.
in the wave and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
totally.
You literally had that moment.
We had a lot more of those scripted, but yeah, we got one.
Yeah.
We got one.
And see,
so.
I love it. It was all due to knocking on doors and just asking, what was your pitch?
As simple as like, hey, I'm a filmmaker. I'm trying to make an indie film. I need horses. It's a Western. I'll let you use the footage. And they were like, great. Didn't care about the footage. I bought them whiskey and they were just excited to be part of it.
Oh, really?
That's
The guy
cool.
had daughters and was like,
In
again,
California?
kind of like, what was that?
In California?
Yeah. So it was, I'm a little, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Please keep loving
But
it.
yeah, we shot like Eastern Sierras.
Okay.
And so,
Oh, cool.
yeah. And so it's beautiful, obviously. And,
Were you going up there looking for people who had horses?
Yeah, so I was basically all along the 395. I was just
wow.
like bopping off into like
Wow.
random spots and seeing a ranch and
With your
you know.
eyeballs. You were just like, here's a ranch. And you
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
wow.
literally that's it. And like, I don't know, I mean, my dad was always really big on just like, just give him a call. It can't
Yeah,
hurt, you know,
yeah.
just ask him. It
love
can't
it.
hurt,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I
Yes.
could have, I guess, gotten kidnapped or, you know, killed or murdered or whatever, but
That is.
all in the fun.
that
I know
is-
we're both really intense
Would have
about
been a great story.
yeah. We're both like very intense about fun, like making
Yeah.
sure, like
Yeah.
The
you know,
adventure.
yeah,
You're
that's
very
exactly
adventuresome.
it. I
And
like the
think-
adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was a question I wanted to ask you, especially with how there were some struggles on the feature that could sometimes make it feel like it wasn't fun. But
Yeah.
you being the leader of it, like I know you and I have talked about, like we really want the film to feel like a party because it's literally the best job in the world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So how did you continue to make it fun for others when you had struggles like that happening on set?
Yeah, I mean, I think this one was such an interesting. It was difficult in one way because a lot of the cast are actually really good friends of mine. So I got really lucky that I just have these incredible actors as friends.
You liked them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they really worked for some of these roles. Some of them I didn't know, and they were new to the crew or whatever. But it was hard because in one way, you know, they're my friends, so I'm used to being a certain way with them. So there's actually a lot I had to like be like shut off the fun, if anything. Especially you get like 9 women together and, you know, the chatter and the jokes and the whatever and the material itself lends itself to a
Yes.
lot of, you know, which is great. And you so badly because it's so fun. And when you're a writer too, you want to get in there and
Yep.
you want to like, yeah,
Play
that's
with
hilarious. And you want to play, right?
Right.
So there was actually a lot of moments I was learning about not having fun.
Oh,
Like you need to
no.
stop the fun and be the fun stopper.
You're the fun sucker.
Yeah, which is so not me. Like it was very like, you know, the opposite of what I would normally be. And so that was an
Yeah.
interesting experience for me of being like dialing things back and kind of especially because they're friends and you have the familiarity and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And they're seeing a new side of you now, right? And
Right.
and you're like, it's not personal, but it's, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes it can feel personal when
Right.
you know, they're not used to that side of you. So I think what I tried to do, you know, I think it's important every day how you show up to set, you know,
Yeah.
start off when you come in the door and
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yes.
right?
Watch-
The energy you
people are
have, the
watching
way you
you.
talk to people.
Well, especially as the leader, they're going to look to you.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
having a bad day, everybody has a bad day.
Well, okay, and that was especially being the leader in that situation
Yeah.
and like a very that's something else. But anyway,
Right.
I think that being a leader, I'm like going off on a tangent, but essentially the cast part, like, so we had multiple Airbnbs we were all staying at. And so some of the things I was trying to do is be like, okay, whoever's in my car, because, you know, you have to stay later
Right.
usually and do
Right.
whatever. But we had to carpool quite a bit. And so I was like, whoever's in my car is the party car. And I'd put the sunroof
Yes.
open and
Yes.
I'd have everybody, we would blast I'd Do Anything for Love, the Meatloaf song.
Oh my
So we just blast
gosh.
that. So by the end of the shoot, everyone like pretty much knew the words to this song.
Oh, I love
and
it.
we had our like moments. And so I'd be like, okay, because we're on these like unbelievable back roads, beautiful woods,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm like, all right, like stand out the sunroof and like look up at the stars. and we're
a fun
singing like
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. And then the second we all got back to the Airbnb, I was like, okay, work. you know, we need like, I need a prep for tomorrow.
Get it
They're
out of
learning
your
their lines.
him now.
Yeah, right. And you know, someone was doing a puzzle or whatever, but I was just like,
fun.
it was like that was our little party moment. And then, you know, and we had fun. Don't get me wrong. Like everyone had a great time. The action sequences were a ton of fun. And but yeah, I think you need to find the energy to keep the positivity and the positive attitude. And some people will think you having a positive attitude. I think fun is underrated, okay? I think that fun is looked at as a luxury, and I think that's bullshit. I think fun is underused, underrated, and I don't understand why.
It's like healthcare. Everyone should deserve it.
Yeah, because you can make fun out of anything, right? It doesn't have to be, you can have fun doing the dishes. You can, you know, it's just like, it is your choice to do that and, you know, make fun from something. And it spreads, and it's like, you know, what the heck, why not? Joy is free, you know? I mean, life is hard in a lot of ways for a lot of people right now, but there's ways of, you know, there's still ways of
And I think there's a
having fun.
perspective that we receive as filmmakers from people who are not in the industry when they see what you're doing and they see how much fun you're having, that like this idea of, oh, you guys just get to have fun all the time. And it's like, yeah, but it is also work. Like, I love what I'm doing and I will do it every day, but it is work.
Yeah.
But the perspective is, oh, you just get to play.
It's
But it's also play, you know?
It is really hard to explain. I mean, even my parents came to set. They came to set for like, they've never really visited set, you know, for whatever reason. They're very supportive, but it just didn't make sense, right?
Right.
And so they were up in Tahoe and they were like, oh, we want to come to set and whatever. And they were like, we were exhausted after 2 hours and we weren't doing anything, you know? And just like kind of just being with the crew, hearing the conversations and the setups and the this and that.
Moving,
the stress, the, you know, this and that went wrong. What are we going to do now? You know, in between takes. And so it's just like, it's interesting that, yeah, it is like, I think some people do get it and they go, yeah, I've never done it, but I could see why it's a lot of work. And then other people for sure are like, oh, you get to do this fun thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, I get where it's very easy to write off our work as being like not a necessity, but that's we all know that's crazy town.
Art is very much a necessity.
Oh, 100%. But I get where they think it's just an add-on, right? And that's what they think about fun, is they think it's just an add-on. And you're like, no, these are
what make us human.
People, exactly.
Especially in a world of AI.
And also sometimes being the fun person, they think you're less intelligent or that you like, you know, there's a certain like I don't know, like aversion to silliness, I think, that sometimes, and I get it, it's probably trained into people, right? To be like, you know, the class clown is just the idiot, you know? And you're like, actually, they're probably one of the smartest
people who are afraid to be ridiculous. Like, they're so concerned of looking ridiculous. And it's like,
sad.
And kind of pass judgment when they see people looking ridiculous.
Yeah, because it makes them uncomfortable.
And it's like, oh, no, we love being silly and
I thrive.
But like, but don't get me wrong, like, if you're looking at us as unintelligent, you just haven't seen us do our critical thinking, which we're usually doing when we're sitting there writing the script or putting the film together, or you know, managing other stuff. Lies.
Well, I think it's exactly that. There's a lot, like, you know, I think we both present as like fun people. You know, we haven't hung out as much, but obviously
I
you
think
do.
We'd be really fun.
Yeah, 100%. And so like, I think, there's something weird about that, like, people just see that's it. You know, that's kind of, that's all you have to offer. And that's fair. That's all you're putting on the table, right? But like you said, behind the scenes, you're, you know, the business side and the writing side and the whatever. And you know, like, I think we were talking a little bit about like, you know, on set earlier, and something that not to like make it a gender thing, but like something that I kind of realized about even like female leadership is that like, I just don't think people are used to it enough yet. Like, and I know that sounds really obvious, but I think it's just like, it looks different, it acts different, it presents differently in the way that we maybe have confidence. Or like, you know, even things like
we stick to schedule.
Like all of that.
We get people out when we need to.
Well, You're on
Excuse me?
the oh.
He's actually incredible.
Very anal about it.
Actually,
Oh no, I'm looking at you for you. You're like, we're on time. And I'm like, real quick aside, when we started dating, like I've had trouble being on time. I know this is an issue of mine. I have known this forever. Not when it comes to set. When it's work, that's what I do.
Yeah, totally.
But we started dating, and like if we were going anywhere, it would be like, okay, we can't both have this problem.
Yeah.
You need to be going on time too.
I'm talking in a professional sense.
Fair enough. That
On
is true.
set,
That is true. You are very punctual.
I make sure.
I mean, you are the dream.
If
Yeah.
there's
You're
a
the dream.
schedule, we are doing what we can to hit that.
Yeah.
But in real life, what is time?
What is time? I know,
What is
trust
time?
me. I'm like, I feel like I like to maximize every minute, which means I end up being late because I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, well, I don't want to be there waiting. So I'm going to
Right.
maximize that time until I'm
Right.
pushing it to the nth degree.
Right,
You know,
right.
and
You're being productive.
Very productive and very, randomly late for no
Yeah.
reason. But oh my God, the amount of times I hit it right on the dot and I'm like, you are a genius. I'm like,
Right, and it
I
feels so
maximize
good.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I AD'd myself through this whole day and I hit everything on time.
Yes.
I'm just
There
like,
you go.
wow, I'm so productive
Yes.
and amazing. And like,
Which you are.
there's that version. But
100%.
then, like my boyfriend's like the type that wants to be at the airport like 3 hours early. And I'm like, I want to be the one that like gets on right as they're boarding my group number.
Same.
Like right as they're getting my group number and I go, nailed it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like George Clooney in that whatever
No.
movie, the flight movie.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
he fires everybody. or something.
Yeah,
I feel like he's
remember
been in a lot of flight.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
You're right.
I had gotten Burbank Airport down to a science where I had been
Hell
like,
yeah.
I knew if I left at this time, because I didn't live that far from it anyways, but I could get there 15 minutes before I was about to board,
Yeah.
and I was never having to show up an hour early because I wasn't checking any bags or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'd just get on. And she's like, I'd like to be there like 2 hours early. I'm like, what are you going to do?
Well, because my
What are you
thinking
gonna
is, well, here's the thing. I am such a vegetable. Like I sit
Vegetable.
Literally, I
What
am a depends on the day.
rutabaga.
Yeah, right.
Like squash kind of brings to me. But anyways, so like
love that.
I'm just on the couch or on a chair or schlumped over somewhere anyways. I might as
Yeah.
well just be schlumped at the airport.
There and not stressed and not,
I have my coffee,
Yeah.
maybe a little cocktail, depending what time it is. Like, if I'm gonna sit around, which I would be doing at the house anyways, I might as well.
When I'm
fair.
with someone,
there.
I actually don't mind getting there early because it's fun to like
Yeah.
hang out, whatever,
Peruse.
Yeah, I think like also, I love a good, hour and a half notebook sesh or something,
Yeah.
Sure.
or but
Yeah.
Watch.
yeah, but I don't know. I just love the
I
feeling
love
of like I
yeah.
nailed the timing.
Okay,
Nailed the timing.
I don't know if you've ever experienced this because I think we're very similar in this way, where like I could get down to a science exactly how long it would take for me to get ready, like
Oh,
to
yeah,
the point
yeah.
where it's like the smallest amount of time. I'm like,
Right.
I know I could get in the shower, dry it
You're
off,
like a
and in
Minuteman
my
or whatever they're
clothes, and
called.
I'd be like,
Oh, there
I
you
am
go.
done and ready to go in 7 minutes. And then I knew how long it would take me to get there, and I was same. I didn't want to make I didn't
Yeah.
want to wait, but I also didn't want to make people wait. So
Right.
I'd always be like, I'm getting there right on time, usually a minute over. But
yeah, but nobody's noticing. Nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So considerate, both of you.
yeah.
I mean,
I appreciate it.
I don't know.
But I don't do
Yeah.
that for the film sets though. I'll be there hours early
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
and just
I
be
get
like,
so much anxiety with filming
Yeah.
that like I don't. Do we sleep anyway? Like, does
Yeah.
it matter?
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah.
like there's so much. Yeah, I mean, as you get going, right,
Yeah.
you're good. But for the most part, I'm just too anxious
Yeah.
all night.
There's a lot that
Yeah.
could go wrong.
yeah.
A lot that
Yeah.
could go wrong.
And I want so we've been chatting for a while, so
Yeah,
I want
probably.
to close this out with a couple questions
Okay.
that hopefully we don't have to dive too deep on. But I think this is important because you've done your first feature.
Yeah.
What is the feature film tax that you really face as a director? Like your first feature film that like you didn't expect, the thing that like you had to pay from yourself, not money monetarily, just
Yeah.
like something unexpected.
Your soul.
Ooh, wow! What a deep question. I love that.
30 seconds.
And go.
I know. This is like of all of the questions.
Hardest one for last.
I love that. They're like, so just
We're
deep
almost
down
2
in
hours
your. I know. I'm just like,
Let's get in. Give me a one-word answer.
yeah, right. You're only allowed one word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has to be a
The
noun.
most. I mean, I guess the obvious is time, and that sounds terrible, but I think my creative energy, because and obviously this was an interesting scenario, right? Like, but I will say, like, there was so much that was going on, like, with the production and emotionally, all the things that I feel like literally up until like a couple months ago, I was just like, I just felt like I was like, am I creative anymore? Do I have creativity? And like, so I think I lost. That's how it felt. I don't know. That sounds really cheesy, but I think
But
that
I feel
was,
like that's like a post any project.
Any project.
If
Yeah,
you, if
it
you
just
don't
took longer
have
than
the
I thought.
if you don't have the next thing already in the wings, sometimes we get to that point where we're like, is this all I had to give?
Yeah.
You know?
And I know, like, it was weird because I went in a cycle. It was like right after filming, I had 3 million ideas. I was like writing like crazy, and I was just like, woo! Like anybody could riff with me, and I was like, I'm SNL walking on water, you know, like I'm just amazing. And then like when shit, you know, just hits the fan, right? And like you're being pulled, and you know, and post takes a lot out of you, which I loved. I had the best post everything. Like I just had a great time. So thank you everyone in post. But yeah, I think that was the surprising thing for me.
How long it took you to
How long
kind
it
of
took,
come back
yeah,
around.
yeah. Especially because I don't give myself grace about being tired or exhausted or not productive or whatever. I think a lot of us probably do that, you know, because you're your only teammate.
Right.
So whatever you're not doing is screwing you over, right? And yet you guys are like just next
We're
level.
stuck.
Like next level the amount you guys do. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that was like the most shocking thing
Sure.
for me.
I can so believe that.
Yeah.
I get exhausted after a day's worth of being creative, let alone 20 days.
I will say we've just recently chatted about this, about how I'm actually starting to feel age when it comes when it comes to projects specifically, because I used to be like, I could work on a project for 2 weeks and then come out of it and need like a day down, and then I could come back. But it took me several weeks after we finished production on Mouse for me to be like okay again.
But mind you, it's him and one other person.
Right. So you're doing 20 jobs, which takes 20 more years.
And, and 20 hours a day and that kind of stuff,
Like,
which I'm okay
crazy.
doing. That's what you do.
Right there with you.
If you're done on a production day, you got to go home, you got to plan the next day, or you got to be
100%.
planning 3 days out. You got to be
problem solving, whatever went wrong, like fell out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is part of the reason we love it, right? But like, the taxing, the, again, emotional, physical, all the things, mental, just the amount of, I mean, you're doing, I feel like we squeeze like a year's worth of brain work into, such a small amount of time,
vision,
which is, again, a great high and a great rush. And it's just like, but yeah, once you rest, you're like, I'm not allowed to do this. What's going on,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally get that.
Where are we at with the film? What's going on next with it?
Well, we're waiting for, kind of simultaneously, we're waiting for a festival premiere right now. So yeah, and we had some exciting news about a big EP who came on, which I don't know if I'm allowed to share.
It's
but
okay
anyway,
if not. This is exciting.
Yeah, they're amazing. So that's very cool. I was like, oh my God, you like my project? Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so we're trying to sell the dang thing.
Great.
We're trying to sell it. I've got like a lot, as I said, I love the marketing side of it. So pretty large marketing deck put together for that.
Nice.
And hopefully find the right partner, to facilitate some of that. I think we're going to probably see what we can do with like an event-ized theatrical and see what we can do there. So, Bachelorette, we're hoping to... that market, let's go, let's create like this long Bachelorette kind of cycle. And,
I love
and
that.
stuff. So yeah,
there's so much you can do marketing wise for this.
Exactly.
It's such a hot
it's almost
and sexy theme.
overwhelming, because it's so fun, and the cross branding and the this and that, and you're just like, oh my God. So
literally take a bus, take a boat, throw things on like whatever. Like there's just so many Bachelorette themed things.
Exactly, and like all you want to do on a batch is like, I don't know,
Drink
there's
out of
merchandising.
penises.
Yeah, all the things. Yeah, all the things. So I left penises out of my film. Nobody
did?
Yeah,
I did notice
nobody
that.
noticed that. And I think I got so annoyed being on way too many Bachelorettes where it's just like
Lot of
blast
penis.
for life or something. And I was just like, God, Lord, okay, all right,
Oh
you know.
gosh,
But,
Yeah.
that's actually that was a really big choice to leave it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Was that a hard or easy choice? Pun
easy.
intended.
I was like,
Hey. Was
and-
it a hard or soft choice?
Yeah, right. I should have caught the pun. Yeah, I don't know. I just like, I guess I was just like, why? Like,
We're over
why?
it.
Like, I was just
Yeah.
over it. It wasn't even a choice. I guess it was a choice, but it was like, it's not even on the table. Like, I'm
Wow.
not even, I don't want,
Yeah.
you know, that's not the version I want because it just also feels like cheap and
Sure.
like, I don't know.
Penises
It's just,
are.
and also that whole like era of things is going to become. I love you. I've missed everyone. I'm like, wait a second. Every one of them. I'm like, yeah, you know, wait a second.
wait a second.
Wait a second. I'm like those old movies. I'm like, hey, yeah.
Why,
You
was
just hear that. Right?
Yeah, right. Like, oh my God, that's so
man.
funny.
I love that though. I respect that decision.
She is so creative when it comes to marketing, and I want to just give you
nice
some
of you.
flowers on this one because I remember
Petals.
for Cosmopolitan West,
Yeah.
you were telling me about like you had the feature script, you were about to be sending it to somebody, and you had done this very creative way of delivering the script.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Because I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to send them a bank safe that when you unlocked it, the script was inside.
Oh my gosh.
And the script was like in the film is about the Cosmopolitan magazine in the 1800s. And so the cover is the Cosmo magazine and then the script's inside the magazine,
Yeah.
obviously. But I couldn't find bank safes big enough and like the old style, right? I couldn't
Yeah.
find the old style big enough. So a friend knows how to weld. And so we literally fabricated our own, like 3 different huge banks. They were so heavy, like
I
3
bet.
different bank safes.
Yeah, wait,
And
what? Wait,
yeah,
did
it
it
was
have to
intense.
sit somewhere? Or
yeah, I mean, so, and then I like, everything inside was like glued into place so that like, you know, no
Okay.
matter what. But then we realized like, or I realized I can't really ship this. So I had to like,
Yeah,
it was so
no.
gnarly. I was like, I was like having these meetings with them and being like, hey, so I have a present with you or for you, whatever. And like, it was like a 30-pound, maybe more, like bank safe. And then they get a key and like, because we installed it with like a key and they get the key and they unlock it and they open it and there's like the script. And I'm like, this is your bank safe now. And they're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, bye.
Right, yeah. And I was like, you can keep it or not, you know. And some, I think it was one or two of them gave it back to me. And I think I had one at the screening at the Autry. And yeah,
did you keep one for yourself?
I do have one, but I didn't lose the key. My niece lost the key, and because they used to love playing with it, and I was like, number one rule is this key doesn't leave.
Should have welded it to the
I
side.
know. I was like, I should have like.
Oh.
So one day we'll find that key, or I'll get a locksmith for a fake
Yeah.
bank safe.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
whatever.
But it's precious to you.
It's precious, and it is really cool.
She's
It has,
gonna
like,
get a
the
role
logo
for
on
having to
it.
break into
Sick.
safes, and she's gonna have to practice. So
I know.
she's gonna learn.
I
it.
know.
The
the
little,
heist.
what is it? The stethoscope?
Oh, the stethoscope?
Stethoscope?
Yeah.
You got this.
Thank you.
I mean,
First try.
if only I wanted it to be like a little
dial
That'd be
turner,
so cool.
like a little locker
Yeah.
one. But either way, no, that is fabulous. That is incredible. Well, I'm excited then to see what you come up with for this one because the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Quite literally, get a penis
Hopefully.
plane up in the sky.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the only time I use a penis. Like, only time.
hey, you know
my
what?
God.
I mean, you'll have people looking.
Yeah, that's
You'll
that's
have
so
that
true.
scene from Austin Powers. Like,
Yes.
it looks like a big Johnson. Johnson, what do we have here? You know?
I mean, I would love that. I
You
would
could
love
recreate
that.
that.
I gotta call up Mike Myers and be like, hey,
Yeah.
I got a roll for you.
or just use that clip. Period.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
Just
Or
like,
Yes.
yeah.
hire a impersonator. I recently saw one that they were hired for a bachelor party.
Oh, so funny enough, my sister, like, I don't know, 6 years ago now, she hired I love Austin Powers, and she hired an Austin Powers impersonator
Yep.
to ask me to be her bridesmaid.
Oh,
And but she put us on this like whole scavenger hunt, and then Austin shows up at the end, and I was just like, what's going on right now?
That's so funny.
Yeah,
So much
it was,
there.
It was
I love
so
it.
random. But again, back to the whole Bachelorette bullshit. My sisters and I were way too intense,
Oh,
and
gosh.
So no more.
Yeah, thus
No
the
more.
inspiration.
Well, and like, not to keep harping on about it, but I had a wedding for my birthday.
Yeah.
I turned 30, threw a wedding for my birthday.
Wait.
And then, like, I got married to myself. And then,
What?
yeah. It
Don't
was
think
a
too hard
3-day
about it.
event. Well, because I went to so many damn weddings, I was like, fine, I'm clearly
You
never going to
carry-
date anyone ever again
You carry
because
Bradshaw
I've been
yourself.
single so long. So
Oh my
I threw
gosh.
a wedding. I was like, you come to my wedding now. And so I had like an entire wedding weekend. I had a ceremony
Wow.
and it was an Austin Powers ceremony. So
Yes.
I was
Are you
dressed as
kidding?
Austin Powers and we had the fembots as the bridesmaids and like
love
all
it.
that stuff. But we had we had full ride karaoke. Syra was on there.
Are
it was
you
like,
kidding?
It was so fun. It was a great weekend. Bike ride wine tasting. We had like the best time. But I did the wedding, right?
Uh-huh.
And then 3 months later or like 2 months later, made the Bridesmaid movie, Making a Bridesmaid,
Wow.
which is Bachelorette.
Yeah.
And then finally met my boyfriend, like right after that. And I was
You
like,
only
so
get one, girl.
I like everything in my life is backwards, apparently. You
I
know,
love
I'm like
that.
wedding, Bachelorette,
no.
and then found a boyfriend.
Oh,
it was just
man.
like such a funny.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You'll get a read.
I mean,
Do it all backwards.
it goes back to when your sisters were just excited about getting married to have the bachelorette party.
That's
So
exactly. Everything's backwards.
You
yeah.
got,
Welcome
you got
another one.
Try
Yeah.
and become friends with the producers to get my films made backwards.
yeah.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Well, thank you so much, Molly, for coming
Thank
on.
you. This is so
really
fun.
appreciate
Yeah.
you taking
Yeah.
the time, and we're really excited for people to see this movie because it was really
Yes.
fun.
It meant the world that you guys watched it, and because right now I haven't shared it with an audience, so I'm just like, does anyone like it?
Oh,
you
I
know,
love it.
so
It's
Yeah,
great.
no,
Yeah.
you made a fabulous product. I think it's very entertaining. I'm excited to see what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But live in this
Yeah.
moment.
So should we do it?
Let's do it. We're
Okay.
gonna count
All
down.
right.
3, 2, 1.